ever noticed how one person can walk into a room and their whole atmosphere changes? They didn't even say anything dramatic. They didn't flip a table. They didn't announce the end of civilization. They just walked in. And suddenly the room feels tighter. Your body feels more alert and your shoulders rise a little. You speak differently. You breathe differently. You become a slightly more defended version of yourself. Or the opposite happens. Someone calm walks in, grounded, clear, not in a performative sense. Not dead behind the eyes, pretending they're at peace, actually steady. This is not your imagination. Your nervous system is always reading the room. And research shows that humans do, in fact, pick up and synchronize with other human beings' emotional and physiological cues. And I think this matters deeply, because most of us walk around thinking we are too sensitive, too reactive, too affected by other people, when in fact, we are just human. We are not machines, we are not islands, we are nervous systems in relationship, and that means that other people can get into us more than we'd like to admit. There is this fantasy that modern culture sells. It says the strong person is untouched, unbothered, unaffected, pure granite and cardigan. But that's not how humans work. We are social creatures. Our brains and bodies are built to read faces, voices, tension, expression, a shift in other people. So when you walk into a tense office and your shoulders tighten, your jaw tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, that's not some moral kind of failure. That's your body doing exactly what bodies do: reading, adjusting, preparing. The body is always asking if a situation is safe, if it can soften, or if it needs to be careful. And as I've mentioned before, the body answers these questions before the thinking mind can catch up. That's why some rooms feel like a breath of fresh air, and others feel like your body quietly putting on armor. I think the easiest way to understand this is through weather. Some people feel like sunlight, not in a cheesy, inspirational quote way, just there's more space when they're there. And other people feel like a storm front. The pressure changes fast. You know that feeling before it rains? The air just feels different? That. There isn't any thunder yet, no lightning, but something in your body feels different. That is what some people's stress feels like. It first enters through tone, through pace, through eyes that are just somewhere else, through clipped words, through agitation, a nervous system that is already quietly bracing. And your body picks it up because your system is listening. And this doesn't always happen in obvious ways. It's not just someone yelling. It can be much subtler than that. A rushed tone, a tight smile, a simple question that comes from a body that's already loaded. A parent whose stress fills the house before they even speak. A partner who says, "I'm fine," in a tone that can curdle milk. A boss who never shouts, but somehow still can make everyone in the room sit 2 centimeters stiffer. Stress does not need speech. It travels well enough just through posture. Research on emotional contagion, I know, what a way to describe it, shows that it's an often automatic process that involves mimicry and synchronization of expressions, vocalizations, movements, and physiological reactions. So when you leave people feeling exhausted, scrambled, heavy, or vaguely off, it's not because something huge has happened. Sometimes your body has just been inhaling their internal weather. Stress spreads like smoke. Even if you did not light the fire yourself, you still breathe it in. And this is where it becomes painful. A lot of people don't know what's theirs anymore, and by lunch they just want to disappear into a forest and become a tiny administrative problem for absolutely nobody. They do not realize how much of what they are carrying has been amplified, shaped, or activated in contact with environments or nervous systems around them. That is especially true in families, relationships, and teams. So no, this is not just energy in the vague internet sense. We do affect each other. Emotionally, behaviorally, physiologically. And this is important because once you understand that, you stop asking, why am I like this? And start asking, what has my nervous system been in contact with? There is also something else here. Not every person affects us in the same way. Some people make us feel more like ourselves, and others make us leave ourselves. Some people bring us back into our body, and other people pull us into hypervigilance and shutdown. And the maddening part is that this can happen without a single dramatic event. You can spend an hour with somebody and feel quietly diminished without having a court-admissible explanation. No obvious abuse, no explosion, no smoking gun. Just your nervous system slowly saying, absolutely not. I do not enjoy being marinated in this. And because most of us were raised to override this kind of information, we don't trust it. We say, I'm probably overreacting. I should be more resilient. Maybe, but also maybe your body has excellent taste. Now, this does not mean that other people are always the problem. This is where the conversation can get a little bit slippery. Because yes, stress is contagious, but so are old patterns. Meaning sometimes what you are picking up is the present environment, and sometimes the present environment is lighting up an older alarm system in you. A certain kind of tension, a certain kind of unpredictability. And suddenly your nervous system is not just in that room, it's in every room that has ever felt like this before. This is why some people can affect us more than others, not because of who they are, because of what their way of being invokes in us. This is where this becomes philosophical as well as physiological. We do not simply perceive reality. We meet it through memory, pattern, meaning, and embodiment. So your body is not oversensitive if it reacts strongly, but it may not always be reacting to now. And that is where awareness matters. I think of it like this. Your nervous system is a tuning fork. Strike one nearby and yours starts vibrating too. This just means you're resonant. The question is not whether you're affected. You are. The question is whether you know what is happening while it is happening, because that changes a lot. If you don't know, then someone else's stress becomes your stress. And now you're snapping at people you love because a colleague had a mental breakdown in Excel and your body somehow decided to join the meeting. But if you do know, you can start to separate. You don't become cold or indifferent, one of those people who says, I protect my peace while clearly being unbearable at brunch. I mean real separation, the kind where you can feel what is happening without fully becoming it. That's different. And that is why regulation matters so much. The most regulated nervous system in the room often sets the tone for everyone else. This is true in parenting, in leadership, in friendship, in love, and in teams. You can feel when someone is with you from steadiness instead of from chaos. They don't need to say much. Their body says enough. And the opposite is also true. One dysregulated person can quietly drag the entire room into tension. You've seen this. Maybe you've been this. No judgment from me, we all take turns. Sometimes you're the calm harbor, and sometimes you're the storm with email access. But once you understand that we affect each other like this, responsibility changes. You don't only ask, how do I manage myself, but rather, what do I bring into rooms? That's a deeper question. So what do you do with this? First, notice the effects of the environment and of people on your body without immediately making yourself wrong. Not every drained feeling means you're sensitive, and not every anxious shift means you're broken. Sometimes your body is giving you accurate information about what it is in contact with. Second, get specific. Did you tighten around urgency? Shut down around criticism? Lose yourself around strong personalities or go into caretaking when people become chaotic? That is good to know. Third, learn to return to yourself. This might sound simple, but this is where the real work lies. Pause, breathe, drop your shoulders, slow down before you absorb the whole room like a sponge with excellent manners. You do not need to become immune, you just need to become anchored. There is a difference. And then, maybe most importantly, take seriously the places and people that constantly dysregulate you. Some environments cost too much. Some relationships ask your body to constantly stay on guard. Some versions of normal are just chronic dysregulation with better branding. You are allowed to notice that. The main takeaway here is that other people's stress affects you because you are human. Your nervous system is rational. It reads, it responds, it adapts. It is constantly in communication with the world around you. That means your inner life is not only shaped by your own thoughts and feelings, but by the rooms you enter, the bodies you live beside, the tone you're spoken in, the regulation or the dysregulation of the people around you. So no, the answer is not to become hard, it's to become aware, discerning. Know when something is entering you and how to return, how to build a life without your body needing to brace all the time. That's the wisdom. Think about it for a moment. Do you tend to feel other people's stress more in your mood, your energy, your body, or your thoughts? And for more grounded conversations on nervous system regulation, resilience, yoga, breath, and self-leadership, join for the next video.